Hey guys, I was able to see Iron Man 2, and I want to say I really don't think it's that great of a film. It seems to be the type of film where it's kind of like putting a lot of fluff in and, just trying to get to the 2 hour mark. It runs around a little bit less than 2 hours, about an hour and 15 minutes. But what Iron Man 2 lacks is a great villain, and Mickey Rourke really did not deliver that. I mean, he's in the film. I mean, he's the bad guy, and then you have this other CEO guy who's kind of like the bad guy, and it just doesn't. He doesn't really resonate what Omega Red's supposed to be, and I just think that it doesn't have the great villains that other movies have, like Terminator 2, when you have the Liquid guy. Um, I'm not trying to be all Arnold Schwarzenegger, but even Total Recall, the pressure that he was under that evil CEO that was on Mars, the Joker from Batman 2. Um, I mean, there's a lot of other great movies that have great villains. Actually, Blade, the first one, Deacon Frost. But Omega Red just seems like he's kind of lacking on the film. Of course, I'm not going to give away any spoilers here, but we all seen the trailer. You see him, he breaks up, destroys Tony Stark's racing car, and there's a fight there. You can see that he puts on the Iron Man suit and they go at it, and that's about it. And they don't really go at it, of course. I mean, I'm not giving anything away, but it's obvious that they're going to fight in the end. But they fight at the end for a little bit. It was nothing really that special, and I just think that Iron Man 2 and Iron Man in general haven't really been that great of movies, and I just think that in today's movies that they're not really that great as they used to be. If you go back to the 80s and some of the 90s movies, and I kind of feel like movies kind of quality dropped off a bit around 1999, 2000, and 2001, and a lot of these summer blockbusters that are coming out. I know Iron Man, kind of like a spring summer blockbuster, but that's what it's shooting for. Um, a lot of these movies aren't as great as they used to be, and I don't know if it's just the audience is getting just accepting these movies as being great because this is all we have to watch anymore. But if you put this movie up next to Terminator 2, uh, Iron Man would not be that great of a film. Actually, even if you put up True Lies, I mean, I'm an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, so his best movies would be Terminator 1, Total Recall, T2, and True Lies. Those are probably like some of the best action movies that he's ever been in. And if you look at movies with Sylvester Stallone, uh, and especially Demolition Man, and then when you see Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was a badass in that movie. He's in the movie a lot. I mean, he's causing havoc, and there's a lot of things that are going on, but Mickey Rourke just doesn't pull that in the film that much. And I think it's not really his fault. It's the fault of the writers, and that they're stuck on this Iron Man thing about, they did it in the first one when they had the Tony Stark's friend who became the evil bad guy, put on the suit, and they're stuck into these things about the suits. And if you read the comics, Iron Man has a lot of other villains. I mean, Ming, I think his name was Ming. He's this guy who has like these power rings, and they're kind of magical. But I'm afraid they don't want to bring that villain into Iron Man because it might sound a little goofy because he's a magical villain. I mean, he can summon like dragons from, the fifth dimension or something, and he's kind of like a warlock or a wizard or something. And they don't want to bring that into the Iron Man franchise because it just seems goofy. But I mean, in the comics, it's fun, and the Iron Man comics are really, really good comics, and there's a lot of great stories. I feel that a lot better than the two Iron Man movies that that have been pushed out already. And I don't think the Transformer movies at all were that great. I think they were pretty horrible. And the only two movies that I have really, really enjoyed in a really long time was District 9 and the new Star Trek film. Now, I liked Avatar. I'll give it a 7. It had a very simple story. You already knew where everything was going. It's a very pretty movie. It's a fun movie to watch. But at the same time, it's not The Matrix. It's not. It doesn't give you that feeling when you first see like Star Wars, you know, Episode 4, the good one, not the prequels. But that's what. I'm not saying Iron Man has to be that at the same time, but it doesn't deliver on that. It just seems like Tony Stark's always, you know, I understand that he's a playboy and that's part of the character, but when you're trying to fill up a 2 hour movie with just being a playboy and trying to work a story around that, and then, blah, 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 this is going on, blah, 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 this is going on, and you're trying to wait for 2 hours to build up this villain. I think it'd be probably a little bit more interesting if they started treating these movies a little bit more like comic books, and maybe, bring in, some of these more other villains. Maybe Tony Stark fights an alien or something, or goes off to another planet, because this does happen in the comics. Not saying Tony Stark has to go off planet, but maybe if there was something else involved in the story where, you know, Tony would be, fighting for his life for 2 hours, kind of like, in True Lies, I mean, or Terminator 2, I mean, you're almost always on the seat of your pants with those two movies. And then at the end of it, you can show him being the playboy and, living it up in the rich lifestyle. But for the most part, I don't know what it is. I think they still haven't found how to properly do comics to movies. And, I'm not trying to bash the first Iron Man movie, but I'm not a fan of first movies because I pretty much already know the origins of these superheroes, and it's pretty much just a recap for me, at least. I mean, I understand they do it for other people who aren't familiar with these characters, so you just have to live with it. But um, I'll just give you a great example. I love the new Hulk movie that came out about 2 years ago, I guess. That was a really good movie. That was a movie that was on the seat of your pants. I mean, there was a lot of pressure during that movie with Bruce Banner, and it just seemed like that movie captured the essence of being under stress as Bruce Banner. And I don't know. I just think I hope in the next Iron Man movie they just really step it up a notch. Wasn't satisfied with the ending. It just happened too quick, and it just did not fulfill me. So for this Iron Man movie, it was fun to watch. I mean, it was an easy 2 hours to get by, but at the same time, I wasn't blown away like a super blockbuster. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. All right, guys, take it easy. If you like this review, please subscribe to the channel.